Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Last Week Today as I finish my breakfast. Excuse me. What is going on? We got some people here already, honey.
Wow.
Comics by the Bay, good morning from good old Florida. That was the last place we went on vacation.
Oh my gosh, that was great.
It was great. Took my wife to Disney World for the first time. She's been to land. I've never been to land, but hopefully we'll go back as soon as the little guy can form memories.
I didn't want to come back. It was great.
Well, you can't live in Disney. It's very
I know, I'm
expensive.
saying Florida.
Gary B, how are you? Well, Board, good morning again. I feel like I say good morning to the same people every hour because we keep going from channel to channel, but that's okay. David's Comics and Wrestling, how are you, sir? Trev, I've been working on your thing. Hopefully I'll have that done this weekend, we'll see. I have what I think is a pretty packed show for you. I'm going to try to do it all within an hour because I did a little bit of reading. It is, well, boy, that's very accurate. It is like a pub crawl. Hey, buddy. How are you? Little guy was crunching just like a few minutes before, so yeah, you might need to see me exit for a few minutes to take care of that, but I don't know. Let's see. Maybe he'll last until the end of the show. It's doubtful because he is throwing cups up in the air like nothing. This is little toy stacking cups. So we'll see. Yeah, but we have a fun pack show. I read a little bit. I picked up some comics from the LCS, which I didn't expect to do, but it happened. And I figured I see everybody doing their top 5 favorite keys, honey. You haven't seen that with me. And nobody's challenged me, but that's okay. Boat. Who's Boat, dude? Yes, and yeah. Oh, David says hello.
Hello.
She says hi. Matthew, buddy. David said hello. He's smiling. Brian, how are you again, sir? Great show this morning. Yeah, I'm gonna show off. I think my top 5 keys live because I didn't think I have a lot to discuss this week, but that kind of changed. Before we get into it, I want to remind you. Oh, okay, Fanboy's challenging me right now. Okay, Fanboy, challenge will be answered in a few minutes. I want to give an update on the 200 subscriber 2-year giveaway, which feels like it's been going on for 2 years now, but it hasn't. It's only been a month. It's been a long month. The show, I figured out that the last day to participate is going to be the last day in April 30th, which I don't know what day that is offhand. Dale is here. Dale, is Dale here? Dale, how are you, sir? Congrats on, did you just hit 500, I want to say? I know that you hit a milestone. Congrats on that. Yes, that's his name. We named him after Daredevil. My wife wanted to name him Galileo, but...
No.
Hey, Zach, how are you? Been lurking and trying to quit this coughing, but I'm around. How are you? April 30th is a Sunday, Fanboy says. So I'm going to go ahead and believe them. So that's the last day to enter if you haven't done so already. And I wanted to show you, if you haven't done so already, Comics by the Bay, whose name is Matthew, says that because his name is Matthew as well, that our little guy is 10 times cooler.
Oh.
Yeah, I wanted to show you. It's still anybody's game. So remember, you can get points if you make a video, and it doesn't have to be a certain amount of time or anything like that, but make a video of you telling me at least your top 3 favorite non-comic book channels. You could even do more. Neil did more. In fact, I think I should give Neil an extra point because he did more. Do you have a pen on you?
No.
Okay. Remind me afterwards. We have to update the scoreboard. I'm going to say this is unofficial scores too because YouTube has kind of screwed me up with comments lately. So this afternoon, after I watch Gary B's show, I'll be maybe going through YouTube and seeing what comments I missed. So if you don't see your name on the scoreboard or if you did a video and I didn't acknowledge it, let me know. David, yes. Galileos are poor boys from poor families. So let me show you. This is the unofficial scoreboard. Again, you get points if you make that video. If you just do a hashtag 200 in any of the videos I've done from the last month, which is where the Adventures of Joe gets his, he probably has more points again than I'm looking at. I have to go back and go through the comments again. And also, and you have to be subscribed, of course. What was? Oh, you have to make it. You could also get a. Yeah, Trev, your time's ticking, dude. Also, you can get a point by making a donation to the Carl Ruiz Foundation. I've left the link in several videos. Carl Ruiz Foundation, again, that's why I wear my Ruizing hat all the time. I've made a number of Ruizing videos you can go back and see. When is the deadline? April 30th, buddy. And then the first Saturday in May, we're going to do the, we're going to announce the winner. We're trying to see if I could do a variation on a duck race. I don't know. My wife's not a fan of that, but I think I have a way to win her over. So, and if I'm able to do it, I think it'll be hilarious. Yeah, make a donation to the Carl Ruiz Foundation. I don't need a screenshot. You know, there's no minimum that I'm aware of. At least, just tell me, and you get a point. So here, I'll show you what this is. My unofficial scoreboard right now. Again, I got to go back through the comments, but I've got 2 points, 2 entries for Neil. It should be 3. Remind me, we got to add Neil as another point. Neil did good. Zach, you got 2. Durs, who I just wrote as Dear Durs, has 2. Adventures of Joe, he probably has more too. I have to go through my videos because he comments on every video. But I just put 3 for now, so I'll have to go back into that. And Mellow Dope is somebody I just recently kind of connected with. We were talking, I think, on this show, and he said, I want Isolation. Looks cool. I've been meaning to pick it up. Just sent him a copy. And I have to say, over the past week, I've gotten like, I'm going to say 4 new subs just from Mellow Dope. They say, oh, yeah, Mellow Dope sent me. Mellow Dope sent me. So, yeah, dude, I gave you an entry for that. And I know I didn't announce that that's part of how you can get a point, but oh, well, it's my contest. I gave him a point. Bottom tier, how are you, sir? Yeah, so again, that's the unofficial scoreboard. I will double check everything later, I promise you. And if you've made a video that I didn't acknowledge or is not showing in the playlist for the contest, please let me know, because that means I'm not aware of it. Either it wasn't tagged, or YouTube is just being YouTube and just not being a good friend right now, because it does that. But let me do this because it's on the top of the pile. I will tell you a little bit about what I read this week. Again, it wasn't a big read week for me. And spoiler alert, it's mostly X-Men related books. It's all X-Men related books. But it's actually just 2 series. So I went in and I read Sabretooth and the Exiles, issues number 2, issues number 3, which I think I just showed these up last week, if I'm not mistaken. I know that you liked this cover. Maybe that was 2 weeks ago. And issue number 4. I thought issue number 5 was out already. I think I am wrong. I need to watch the Deadpool is Better Than You Lobo video. Oh, okay. So yeah, so the issues 2, 3, and 4 of Sabretooth and the Exiles. Buddy. All in all, I like the premise of the series. The big problem I have with the whole series that remains is that I think they did a great setup. Krakoa is in a way where everybody gets amnesty if they've been a bad dude in the past, except for Sabretooth, because he's been real bad. That's basically in a nutshell. And they throw him in the pit, and they leave him there until recently, where he constantly fanboy, constantly. There's always a big event coming up. Yeah, so they live in a pit. He escapes, and he has somehow corrupted the pit. So in order to catch him, they send out other people from the pit. Here's where it kind of runs into, where I run into the issue. Nanny and Orphan, if you've read the Hellion series, great series. I understand fully why they are in the pit. That makes sense. The rest of them, I think you have a big drop off. Why is Toad in the pit? I can't think of anything Toad has done in the past 20 years. He was a janitor. I don't know. I thought you. Oh yeah, Fanboy. I'll get there. They're doing the Fall of Krakoa, and that'll probably be like 6 months worth of books. I don't know. The others. By the way, they didn't really go with. Definitely not A level characters. Definitely not B level. Maybe C and D level characters. Some of them I struggle to even remember. Why is Madison Jeffries, who even written into Marvel stories at this point, for example, like what did all these other people do that threw them in the pit? They just didn't kind of, flesh that out. And it's like, okay, here's the baddest of the bad, and some other people did. Maybe they just threw them in there to kill them off. I don't know. Okay, so let's see what everybody's saying. He is just Toad, reason enough. Hey, Toad, I'll say this. Out of that, I forgot who wrote. Was it Peter Milligan wrote that horrid, early 2000s run on Uncanny? Toad was probably like one of the better handled characters in that. Yeah, I mean, he got dicked around a lot. Excuse my language. I didn't need to go there. Bless you, buddy. He got kicked around a lot, but they did right by him. I'm coming around to whatever's considered street level stuff. Moon Knight and Daredevil are cool, but the mutants make Marvel stand out. I agree. I'm going to talk about, I think, some of the newer X-Men titles that are coming out soon. I think I'm going to do a green screen discussion of that. Maybe I'll do that with you, honey. We'll see. The only other book I read this week was New Mutants, speaking of mutants, 32. C. Bizzle, how are you? C. Bizzle had a really great, I think it was a 411 with Brian. I think I stopped in the middle of it, though, because I had to go to a meeting, but I have to go back and double check that. I enjoyed it. Wellbore, that was, I clicked on the wrong one. Wellbore, I think that was the comment of the stream so far. David had it, but I think you just stole it. Toad was good in Super Mario Brothers. Agree. I realized that I hadn't finished the books I had set aside to read when I came home to organize the books I bought. New Mutants 32. I realized this has been out in a while. There's only one more issue left in the series. I came around a little bit more to New Mutants. As I've said here before, I'm not going to bash everybody over the head again with it. I loved Vita Ayala's run on this series, and it ended, I think, with issue 30. Issue 29. Issue 30, I actually purchased a couple copies of because I'm going to give them as gifts. Maybe that might be a future video. I haven't decided yet. Issue 31 was a miss for me. I know that David, in particular, loved this new character, Escapade, and her power, honey. It's this one here with the safety goggles. She can basically, if let's say she was here right now, and she was a live person, of course. If she thought about it, she could basically appear to everybody as a copy of you, just by kind of mimicking your mannerisms and whatnot, and kind of replace you. And then in the meantime, I don't know what goes on with you. I forgot, but
That's creepy.
yeah, bottom tier. Ben Percy has been killing it with Wolverine and X-Force. And he has made, I think, the perfect Beast, one of the perfect villains. And I kind of like that they said, hey, it's not Dark Beast. It is the Beast that you like. Yeah, buddy. Okay. I thought he said that. How many X books do you normally purchase a month? Not all of them. I'll say this. It actually switched. Oh, she switches places with the person, so she would switch places with you. Yes, that makes more sense now thinking about this particular issue, which I'll get into in a second. I don't purchase all of them. I actually called out a lot. I don't read Marauders. I read the first couple issues. You good, buddy? Yeah? Okay. I read the first couple issues, hated the new volume, which was a shame because I loved the first volume of Marauders. I don't read Cy Spurrier stuff just because he's too inconsistent for me. He's either great or terrible. There's no in between. I'm trying to think because I know I'm not reading all of them right now. New Mutants 32, though, I liked the story. It was a little longer to handle. Honestly, what's killing me in this run is the art. I just don't enjoy the art style. I feel like it's somebody trying to do a bad impression of Bagley. Like, it's very Bagley-esque, but it's a little too, I don't know, cartoony for me. I do like that they are focusing on mostly unknown characters, with the exception of Ron, who, I'll be honest, I don't think they're handling Ron very well. Yeah, fanboy, agree. But I think one of the better things is that after, I don't know if it was after Hellfire Gale or after Inferno, I felt like they were less connected, and I think that's been very helpful. Erin, what do you think of this art style?
Yeah, I like that style.
You like that style? I'm not a fan.
Really? Why?
I don't know. There's just something that's a little too distracting.
The color scheme?
No, not the colors. Colors are fine. Yeah, so I like the story, not so much the art. I have to read the final issue. That was actually my next to read. My stream cat sticking to you? I'm sorry, Gary. But Marvel may have less X-Men books than Star Wars books. Probably. That's everything I read this week. Like I said, it wasn't a big read. I will show you what I inadvertently picked up from the LCS. I say inadvertently because I meant to just drop off some of the artwork I've been doing for Sean, the owner, and for Justin, who is his sole. Actually, I think he has another guy I've never seen before, but he's got a sole employee. Oh, I don't know what happened, Gary. Yeah, I don't know why it went that. But anyway, and I realized when I was there, it had been a while since I was there. So I will show you what I got here. I'll go through it quickly. She-Hulk, issue 11. Liking this series so far. You enjoy the She-Hulk.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got to get you caught up, though.
I like that cover.
And here's issue number 12. This is the big 175th issue ever of She-Hulk. Not of this run, but ever. How do you like that cover?
It's okay. I like the other one better.
You like the green one better? Was it the vibrancy?
Probably.
Yeah, I've been liking the She-Hulk series. I'll be honest with you. I'm glad that they have the series going on. I thought it was going to be ending, but I was wrong. Marvel Voices Spider-Verse #1.
That's thick.
It is thick.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, this is the only thing I was kind of thinking about when I was driving home. I was like, Marvel Voices, they're usually putting towards these big social concerns, which I feel a way about, and I promise I won't mention that today. But what societal concerns are they addressing with Spider-Verse voices? Are the spider people underrepresented in society? Is that what you're trying to say? Well, David, I'll let you know. You know, I've liked the art so far. I'm guessing it's a different artist, but I don't know. Tiger Division #5. I really like White Fox. That's why I got this one. What do you think of that cover?
It's okay. I like it. Why is it kind of bent? It's kind of like...
It's the Marvel wave. You getting tired, buddy? This actually was an older book. Yeah, Brian, you're a lurker. Sorry. I forgot what it's a variant of. Hold on. Oh, this is a variant of Marvel Timeless, and I had never picked it up. Phil tiptoeing that line. I am? Which line? What line am I tiptoeing? Fanboy, I don't know what line I'm tiptoeing. I might have just been talking. I don't know. I thought my LCS had sold out of this, and then I found it. I got it cheap. This is a Marvel Timeless variant with, I like this with Rogue, with all her other styles there. You don't like that one? No.
I don't like the color scheme of that.
I think it works.
It's too dull.
Let's see. My favorite Nintendo character, Star Fox. I won't get into Marvel's Star Fox because of that. You're not wrong. The Spider-Verse social issues. Oh, yeah, I don't know. Wasp issue #2. I'm waiting until the series is complete before I read it. Remember we saw Wasp 1 with all the different costumes?
Yeah.
Issue 2. And I like these covers. They did the same thing with the Ant-Man series. I know it's a joke, fanboy. You're good. This cup's like,
Yeah.
this guy's talking still. This is, I'm not collecting the timeless covers. My LCS threw this in because they were out of Wolverine issue number 31, the regular cover. So this is the timeless White Queen variant for Wolverine 31. What do you think of that?
That's good. Just cover it up.
For once.
Yeah.
I told you, did I tell you my White Queen story with my aunt years ago?
Yeah.
So I got into collecting through Marvel cards. And I used to carry those cards everywhere. I still have my cards in the binders downstairs. And I used to take them to my grandmother's house in the binder, and I would take a pad and I would try to copy them, basically. So I had the Jim Lee it was the Jim Lee X-Men Volume 1 set. I think it was the Volume 2. That was the Volume 2 set. Jim Lee did all the cards on that. You're not familiar. That's why I'm telling you. They know. So, this was like, I think 12 years old at the time. So I'm flipping through them, and I'm showing them off to my aunt, who has since passed, my mom's younger sister. And I remember showing her the White Queen card. And I just remember that looked like she gave my mom like, because basically Emma Frost, especially in the 90s, I'm trying to take my last scoop of oatmeal gracefully, people. She was basically dressed in lingerie. So that didn't compute. Fanboy, yes, you're true. Marvel cards back in the day were the gateway drug to collecting.
So what happened now? It's just kind of the popularity just went down with the cards, or
The card market in general, I think, has gone down. I might be wrong. I'm not collecting cards. I think they got a little too expensive for my taste. But Wolverine issue 32. A lot of Wolverines on this one. Wolverine versus Weapon X. It's being dubbed as.
Interesting.
Interesting indeed. X-Force 38. I like this cover a lot. It's a Franken X-Force.
Too much going on.
No, see, like they patched together all pieces of
but
the
it's
members.
Really detailed.
Well, I think it's well done. I think that's probably, from the looks of it, a Josh Cassara cover. Yeah, that's what I've heard. X-Force 39.
X-Force is X-Men, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You like that one? It's simpler?
Okay, yeah.
I just got a question. This occurs to me, how does Colossus's beard grow through the steel? Just a thought. Yeah, I think that's everybody. X-Men number 20. This is a crossover with Captain Marvel. We're a Brood-centric story. You like that one, buddy? Okay, Captain Marvel number 47, which is the crossover piece, Revenge of the Brood. The Brood are like, remember Aliens? It's basically the same thing.
That's creepy with their teeth.
Yeah, that's the Brood.
Wow.
Because they are trying to take her over. And then this is X-Men 21, which I think is the conclusion to that.
Reminds me of Superman with the laser beam.
Root Central X-Men story. A group? No, Brood, not group. Oh, are they part of Group Fall? I'm not going to read Group Fall. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. The last time I actually collected cards was the X-Men set. I wasn't after Series 2. I don't think they called it Series 3. But I just remember my friends and I trying to get the animation cards in it, because at the time those were only sold at Walmart, and there were no Walmarts by us up until like right afterwards. But here you go. Rogue and Gambit. This is the miniseries, issue 1. Yeah. Gambit 2. Rogue and Gambit 2. Yeah, the Fleer Ultra set, fanboy. Thank you. Bishop War College, issue number 3. This is a variant that is not very good in my opinion. What is War College exactly? You know? X-23 Deadly Regenesis, number 1. Erica Schultz writing. Can't wait to check this one out, actually.
That looks scary.
It's X-23. Well, she's upset.
Looks like she's possessed.
Yeah, the thing with a lot of these, like, hey, Mello, we were talking about you, dude. A lot of these X-Men limited series, I don't know if they're doing with all the other Marvel ones, was like, they're doing 5-issue series, and I'm like, and I ran into this, I think, with, what was the series I finished? I can't think of it, but it was like, do some of these 5-issue stories need to be 5 issues? Can't they just bring it back to 4? But yeah, he's definitely ready to live stream with us. New Mutants Lethal Legion, issue 1. This is a variant, not a bad variant, with Magic, who my wife hates, but let's see if she likes this cover.
I like that cover because of the color scheme.
She likes the cover. Okay. Magic wins 1 from my wife. New Mutants Lethal Legion, number 2. And it looks like that's your girl Escapade, if I'm not mistaken, kind of taking over Grim Reaper's spot. Very foreboding. Here is one that I got tricked on. I'll show you in a bit. But I can't wait to read this one because I have been waiting for it. This was actually one of my favorite out of the early 2000 X-Men series, the Extreme X-Men series. So they brought it back for a 5. Yeah, Gary, I agree with you on there. Exterminators was great. So this is Extreme X-Men issue 4.
That's a cool cover.
Yeah. Extreme was a great series that was underrated, at least in my opinion. And this is how I got tricked. This is the standard cover for issue 5. And then I got tricked because I was not paying attention. This is a variant of number 5. I thought this was a different book altogether. I'm not attached to Deadpool or Cable or X-Force.
He doesn't exchange it? If you were to bring
I
it.
could. I just don't bother. I like the cover anyway. So. Is that what the trade dress is? I really liked that. That's why I grabbed it. The Kitty Pryde Wolverine throwback. Okay, from the Sins of Sinister, I have Nightcrawlers issue 2. I didn't like issue 1.
I thought he labeled everything with variants. No?
No.
Didn't have a label on it?
No. Nightcrawlers issue 3.
It's an interesting cover.
Yeah, I'll say this though, Gary, because I see some people talking about Cable. That last Cable run with young Cable, very good. I didn't expect to like it, and it was one of the stronger that Krakow, and I was kind of sad to see him go after that. Immoral X-Men number 2.
What is Immoral? I never heard of that.
It's taking over Immortal.
It's a whole different story than X-Men?
It's within X-Men's The Sins of Sinister.
Oh.
So you have Mystique, and it looks like, I can't remember what her name is. She's from an alternate reality. She's the daughter of Colossus, if I'm not mistaken. And another character whose name escaping me. Yeah. That's why she's got Magic's sword, because Magic is Colossus' sister. Immoral X-Men number 3. I do like, I have to say, the focus on...
Is that a variant?
No. Why would I say variant?
Because it's Immoral X-Men again. Like,
Yeah, but it's issue 3.
Okay.
I do like that, what's his face? In the back, Exodus has been getting like a renewed interest during the Krakoan.
That's a cool cover.
Yeah. I always liked Exodus, and I felt like nobody really quite knew how to handle him after his appearance in X-Men. Storm and the Brotherhood of Mutants, number 2. A very sinister looking Storm. No pun intended.
Is
Older.
supposed to be a medium or something?
I don't know. I'll let you know.
Looks like it with a crystal ball. Is that a crystal ball card?
Well, it looks like somebody's trapped in it. It looks like Destiny is trapped in there, so
Well, maybe she
we'll see.
wasn't on the clear.
Storm and the Brotherhood of Mutants, number 3. I like this cover a lot. Okay, we're out of Marvel Woods. People are probably, what are you doing? let's see. This was the only DC book I picked up because I liked this cover a whole lot. This is a throwback to a Jim Lee panel in Batman. This is Catwoman issue number 53. This is I like to call it the beat up variant.
That's interesting take on Catwoman.
Well, yeah, I mean, Batman had the same take. You think about it. You see Batman beating up people. He takes a couple shots, but then he took his shirt off and you see a bunch of scars and everything. And it makes sense for Catwoman to have that too. Very good, yeah.
Yeah. It's a different perspective, it looks like.
I haven't read this one yet. Excited to see this. The conclusion to 8 billion genies.
That's the character?
That's a genie. I told you, that's a different kind of concept.
That's funny.
So I'm kind of curious to see how they ended that. Undiscovered Country number 24. The conclusion to this volume. Yes, I'll see you in about a half hour, Gary B. Not a great cover, but it's a conclusion to this volume. Curious to see. I think they're getting ready to close it up with the next volume. I might be wrong on that. Monstrous number 44. Love this book. This is ending very soon as well. How do you like that cover?
Yeah, I like it.
Ornate. Noctera, issue 12. Noctera, issue 13.
That's cool.
Yeah. Art Brut, number 1. I have issue 3. I'm missing issue 2. Missing.
Never even knew you were reading that.
Remember I showed you the one with the soup can?
No.
Yes. That's it. This is Art Brut. This is the final issue, so I have to get issue number 2, and then I could complete it.
That's a very simple cover.
They're all based on different art styles.
Oh.
Okay, and what was very kind of cool, I like this. When Elon comes back, I need to have him sign it. Elon.
Are you being funny?
No, I'll show you. So my LCS, yeah, bottom tier. I don't know if you've read that series. I only read issue 3 because it was a very cool Andy Warhol looking cover, and actually, what's the guy's name? I'm having a blank. Does a show with Marcus. It's a live stream about an hour after Reggie's show on Wednesdays. I feel bad because this is a great show, and I think it's just independent. So I feel bad because it is a great show. Check it out if you could. If I remember it later, I'll post it in the comments or in the community tab. But yeah, he recommended it, and I checked it out and I was like, wow, this is great. So they gave me an original Fat Moose Comics bag. This is from Lorenzo. Yes, Gary, thank you. Lorenzo's Comics. Yeah, this has got to be the early 90s when Elon still owned the store, because it has their Cedar Knolls location. That was the Morris County Mall. And when he had a second location in Cedar Grove, you figure. So this is like a piece of LCS history.
I don't understand. How did they get that? Did they make it?
I think, well, yeah, they made it in the 90s, and Sean found a box of it somewhere in storage, I guess.
Oh.
But very cool. An original Fat Moose Comics bag when it was comics and games. And yeah, you have all the classic 90s Marvel characters. I wonder if Marvel would have given them crap.
So you're going to keep it?
Yes,
you can't
honey.
use it for trash?
No. Anytime we get a plastic bag, because they don't give out plastic bags here in Jersey anymore, thanks Governor Murphy, we use it as a trash bag, because that's how, well, we were doing that before, but now it's scarce. So when we get a plastic bag, we jump on it. But that's how it goes. Okay. I'm doing good on time. Just leaving a like and saying hello to all, running from Aaron to Aaron. Okay. Enjoy, Mr. Manning. I will show you my top 5 key comics. Spoiler alert, they're mostly X-Men. My favorite top 5. And I grabbed them all in slabs because I couldn't think straight, and I know I wanted to do this. Yes, Mrs. is here, Neil. Neil says hi.
Hi.
And the baby is here as well.
Although he's kind of checked out.
Yeah, he's winding down. Still smiling.
Yeah.
So I did all slabs because easier for me to grab. So I'll just get right into it. The first one is the only non-X-Men one that I can think of. Ms. Marvel, issue number 1. Why do I like this comic so much? Marvel in particular introduces new characters every day. Sometimes they stick.
Was that the first one you let me borrow when we're going out, or no?
Yes, but you borrowed a facsimile.
Wasn't that one?
No, it was a facsimile of this one.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, you did. We've had this
did?
discussion. I bought this off the rack. Sounded like an interesting take on a character. And hey, she's based out of Jersey City, which is about 45 minutes from here. They do have a lot of local references in here. I read somewhere online that actually the writer G. Willow Wilson is from here, the town we live in now. I think that's come into some. I think that still needs to be fact checked, but I thought this was a great character. I think it really is the last really great character Marvel's introduced. I think they were, if I'm not mistaken, they introduced her after Miles. And it's just a book that I loved. I jumped off of the series after Wilson left. I just wasn't feeling it as much, but still a character I think is a hell of a lot of fun. I love watching her series. I'm looking forward to the Marvels movie. And so Ms. Marvel number 1. This next one, okay. This might trying to think of the best word. This might surprise you that I'm showing it now rather than last, because it is a huge book. I'll say this. Yeah, I mean, fanboy, to be honest with you, one of the things, at least in Wilson's run, that I appreciated, I felt like if they were to reinvent Spider-Man today, that's kind of how the book would go. That was the kind of feel of it, where they had those early kind of Peter Parker is just a student kind of getting by. There's definitely a flavor of that into those, at least that early run. I can't speak to the current run. So this was the first major key I purchased when I got back into the hobby after a little bit of an absence. I bought this book about 20 so years ago when I didn't have things like a mortgage or car payment. It was, and I've spoken about, I'm trying to think, the remainder of these 4 books. I used to do a show called Slab Stories. You can find that if you look at a playlist. You could find a more kind of expansive look at these. I'm not going to speak to the same level of detail. It's something I might be looking to bring back. I haven't quite decided yet. But first big key I bought going back into the hobby. I actually even called my mom to talk to her about it to see if she could talk me out of getting it, because I was like, do I want to spend this much on a comic? And she's like, well, yeah, if you like it and it's a major book, why not? So that's X-Men number 1. I wound up getting it slabbed years later, and it's not a high grade. That's okay. I'm good with it. Yeah. And then once I've got that key, for a while, I kind of got on a binge, I guess you could say, with getting keys. Hold on. Let me see something. I want to just catch up with the chat. Sorry. Man, I just crossed a decade of collecting and reading books, and I feel like a babu compared to... It happens. Thank you. Yep, huge book. Yep, my mom talked me into that one. So I kind of got the bug to get keys. Like I said, X-Men have always been my favorite. And sure enough, my LCS... Hey, Joe, how are you? My LCS had another major key. And I've, again, spoke about this on Slab Stories. I highly recommend you go back and check those out. Again, I might be bringing that show back. Giant Size X-Men number 1 at a 7.5. I was so happy to add this to the collection. And these are books that I still appreciate. I think it's really important, especially in today's economy. It's easy to, say, I want to go buy the latest appearance of Spider-Boy and everything, but I think you got to take time and just savor what's in your collection. I'm going to talk about that more. I kind of learned that from my Harvard classes. No, I didn't go to Harvard. Yeah, fanboy. Okay. I'll give everybody just a minute because they liked those first two I showed. X-Men #1, Giant Size. And I like Ms. Marvel as well. Do you remember the significance with Giant Size X-Men 1, honey? Why that's a big book?
No.
I try to educate my wife just to know, just so, she's aware of what we have as well. So X-Men #1, you know why that one's big, correct? That one there.
Yeah.
Okay. So Giant Size X-Men. For a little while in the 70s. You like this one, buddy? Good. I'll get a picture of this. We'll hang this in your room. What do you think? For a while in the 70s, X-Men was not popular. And then Chris Claremont came and kind of reinvigorated the series. And he wanted to introduce a second X-Men team. So to do that, they did this kind of special. So the original X-Men in the back here, who you know, were stranded on a mission on Krakoa, which is now where they live. Cyclops was the only one to escape, so they went back and they formed another team. And what was controversial in the 70s is that it was an international team. You hadn't really seen that before. So there's Storm from Africa, Colossus from Russia, Cyclops in the back from the USA, Wolverine from Canada, Thunderbird, who died in his next mission but recently came back to life, from, I think it's from Mexico, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. I think now they made him indigenous. And Nightcrawler from Germany. So this is the first appearance of Nightcrawler, Colossus, Storm, and Thunderbird. And this is the first time Wolverine joined the team. So on this table right now is the first appearance of Magneto, Cyclops, Angel, Beast, Jean Grey, Professor Xavier, Iceman, Colossus, Storm, Thunderbird, Nightcrawler.
A lot of characters.
Yeah, these are all top tier characters. And there's also on this table, here is a nice transition piece. And this one my wife is involved with. The first appearance of Wolverine at an 8.5.
Pain to get.
Yes. And there is a good story about this. I'm not going to tell it right now. I'll say this. Go to the Slab Story if you want to hear the story. If not, don't. I was going to tell you. But yeah, my wife got this. I'm very happy she got it, and I will treasure it. Yeah, oh my God, it's right to see Bizzle. Same so-so books you got. Same so-so books you got. Some so-so. Okay. I can't read. Coffee's wearing off. Okay. And the last one I have in my top 5. Well, before I do that, how am I doing with my top 5, I guess? Fanboy seems to be impressed. Bizzle's impressed. Boar, yeah. And again, these were just, I really kind of, I don't want to say agonized, but I was like, there are so many great books, but those are definitely the closest to me. This next one, I noticed when these people were doing this, honey, people were talking top 5 keys. And some of those were keys in general or keys that are close to their heart. I did a mix because all of those, especially the one you gave me, have a place next to my heart and are major books. This is one that's not a major book, but does have a close place to my heart because it I've told you this story. Here, I'm going to show this to my wife first, see if she remembers the story behind this.
No.
Okay. So when I first started collecting, thank you, Bizzle. I appreciate that. When I first started collecting, I'll hand it to this. My dad in particular my mom too, tried to support, me reading, I guess you could say, as much as I can when I was like 12, 13 years old. Right. Now, my parents divorced. They were separated at that point. And my dad would have us on the weekends. And he used to kind of alternate, like, okay, we're going to do a Phil thing this weekend, we'll do a Pam thing another weekend. Like, we go back and forth, Pam, my sister. Um, oh, good luck with that, David. Have a great weekend. I have the Superman 80 as well, and I probably have, I don't think I have Batman 497. Yeah, so we would alternate weeks. And my dad, I guess you could figure, because this is the 90s, comics were kind of, this was like at the peak right before the market crashed. There were comic book shows every weekend. And my dad would aggressively look for them. You'd find them in the newspaper or in the back of Wizard. And so we always had a comic book show to go to. And we even, like, I remember one time we went to some dude's house, which I was glad that my dad took me because it was like a little creepy. And I think the guy knew I was creeped out because I only bought, he had like a basement filled with X-Men, and I bought one book. It's like, that's all you want? It's like, yeah, dude, you're freaking me out. Thanks for bringing me to some stranger's house, Dad. Yeah, so one particular show we used to go to, there was a big, I guess you could say, an entertainment center. Think of like, if you're not familiar, think of like a Chuck E. Cheese without like the kids' rides and stuff like that, and without the animatronics, in Paramus, which was about a little under an hour from here. Hey, Paul. I was thinking about you with the mugwort. He just said he came back from mugwort picking. It's like a plant. Yeah, used to go to, was ever so often, the big show in Paramus, New Jersey. And actually, this was probably, thinking about it now, like the best show I ever went to. Because I remember, I think it was my birthday week, so Memorial Day weekend. My dad in this show bought me the set of, it was almost a full run of Marvel Comics Presents, which is something I'm still trying to complete. But it was included the full Weapon X run, Wolverine's origin. And then while we were there, somebody had pointed out, well, there's, I'm not going to say who right now, you'll see in a moment, an X-Men artist here signing books. I had never been interested in signed books at that point. And as a kid, I was dumb because I was like, I don't want any old books. I like the new books. Yeah, because you could have gotten, like, I could have gotten that first appearance back then for maybe $80. Which one? Wolverine. But again, I mean, you're talking when you're a kid, you're an idiot. But my dad had the foresight, and at least in this point, saying, no, I think we're going to get an older book right now. And, it was at a show, so they probably gouged. Usually when they say, oh, yeah, the guy's here signing. That book, which usually sells for $5, is now $10. I remember we spent $10 on this book, and I was kind of like, for me, that was like, oh my God, $10, because that was half of what I would want to spend at all for the entire show. So anyway, yeah, this was a book that reminds me when I look at this of those times, just kind of hanging out with my dad, and it is. I'll just show it to you. I'm babbling at this point. So this is X-Men number 149, not a key book. You can see it's a green label. Why? Because CGC didn't exist back then. And if you look closer, Paul is not into comics at all. If you look closer, as I zoom in, this is signed by Dave Cockrum. So I remember meeting him and not knowing who he was. I think I was just like, you draw Wolverine, right? And he's like, yeah. Oh, can you sign this? And he signed it, and it's a great signature. And I know I could take it to CBCS to get it verified, but I could live with the green label. I don't care about the value of this. This is more about the memory. What did you think of that one, honey?
Nice.
Yeah, so that's my personal top 5 key books. And again, if you want to see any of the full stories, go back into my playlist and go to Slab Stories. Little guy is conking out, which is good because we are just about done. Before I leave, again, I want to remind everybody, you got like one more week. No, the 30th. I don't know what day it is today. But you have up until the 30th to enter the 200 subscriber 2-year giveaway.
Today's 22nd.
Today's the 22nd. Yeah, so roughly a week. What year did you meet Dave Cockrum? I'm gonna say
1961.
yeah. Thanks, honey. I'm gonna say maybe 94, Paul. I'm not quite 100% on that. Maybe 93, 94 probably. Yeah, so you have I just dropped my closing house payment with that top. Yeah, so you have a few days to enter that if you haven't already. And even if you have, look, make a donation to the Carl Ruiz Foundation to get yourself another entry. And we'll be doing that giveaway officially, not on the next episode, but the episode after that, the first Saturday in May. Next week, I forgot to say this completely. You may have noticed yesterday was the season finale of our Love and Comics series. Next week, next Saturday, is going to be your chance to ask us questions about it and us kind of just to do like a recap. I like to say a tell-all just because we watch 90 Day Fiancé and that's how they end the seasons, even though there's no big, bombs to drop like they like to do on that show. So definitely tune in for that. That's going to be a lot of fun. I thought about even just trying to see if maybe Brian or somebody wanted to host it to
That'd be interesting.
moderate with us. I don't know, because he's coming right off of his show. Might be a little much, but we'll see. So be here for that. We've got that going on. Then the week after, we have the giveaway. I'm trying to think, what else do we have going on with comics? Not with, because there's a lot of other things going on. That we're probably not going to talk about until at least July, maybe longer. But I don't know. We are going to watch. I'm trying to think. Excuse me. I finally finished The Boys recently. I watched, by the way,
Mandalorian.
We have to finish Mandalorian.
Yeah.
We're only like halfway into the season. Hey, buddy.
It's more than halfway. We're in episode 5, right?
Okay. Well, yeah.
5, 6.
I thought there was 10 for some reason. I don't
8.
know. I watched The Offer, which was just okay. Start to beginning to understand it. Yeah, and that was the last episode. So bottom tier was saying he only watched the last episode so far. Yeah, if you watch the earlier episodes, you kind of get an idea of what we were doing with it. But yeah, next week is the recap, so you have a week to catch up. Yeah, so we got to catch up on Mandalorian. We got to watch Ant-Man. I watched The Offer, but I don't know, Joe. I don't know if you've seen The Offer on Paramount Plus. The only reason I saw that is because we got it free through something I don't even remember. But I'm kind of mixed on it myself. That was the making of the Godfather films. Fanboy, you have to check out those movies still. But other than that, I'm done for the week. So yeah, I mean, look, you got it's 11:54 my time. You got 6 minutes before Gary B starts. Yeah. Joe, if you do watch it, let me know what you thought of it. I'm kind of interested in your take. There were some interesting things, but there were some kind of things I'm a little iffy on. I'm not going to spoil it or tell you just because I don't want to spoil it. Not a spoiler, but I don't want you to put you in that mindset. But yeah, so you guys have about 5 minutes before Gary B and Madam starts. We're going to definitely check that out. Rockford Files, yeah. But that's what I got for you this week. So I'll put this little guy to bed and change his diaper, which looks gigantic. Peace, love, and comics. Take care, all.